From the driveway to the fairway is Tomas Ernberg of Volvo India.
Thank you very much.
Thomas, what do you attribute such outstanding figures to?
We're very proud to be have such a great performance in 2012. With 155% increase, we're actually the fastest growing Volvo market in the worldwide. And we received a lot of recognition for that in headquarters. And our plan is just to continue even with more aggressive growth in the coming years for India.
So India is the most aggressive so far from the rest of the world when it comes to the growth figures, is it?
Correct.
Which means that the penetration of luxury has gone from being below 1% to about 3%, isn't it?
Correct.
Take us through those figures as well.
We have come from a small base, Volvo Cars, and so this year in 2012 actually, we increased our segment in the luxury segment from 1% to 3%. We plan to, in 2013, to increase that to 4.5%, and the ultimate goal in a couple of years' time is to reach 15% pan-India. We have in some markets within India, we actually have recorded around 20% of the luxury segment. So we have success stories that we can talk about. We are growing with a new network, with new dealers, and we will continue to grow in 2013.
You also plan to grow about 50% in 2013, and you're facing competition from luxury car makers like Mercedes and BMW in India. How do you plan to beat that competition and achieve that figure?
Yeah, it's a good question. What we will try to do is we'll copy-paste a little bit what we have done in 2012.
Okay.
We have worked on specific success stories. So, for example, Hyderabad, I would say, was a success for Volvo Cars. We actually beat two of the luxury car brands in absolute volumes.
Right.
And in 2030, we plan to copy-paste some of our learnings from this success to other parts of India.
Right.
And together with that, we're also being expanded with new dealers and new outlets around the country.
When you said you painted a pretty picture for India, and India's story looks fabulous for Volvo India in the luxury car segment, globally sales have seen a bit of a slump. Do you think that's been lackluster?
It's correct that last year Volvo did post, I think, around 5–6% worse performance in absolute volume versus 2011, and that mainly comes from Europe and
right.
the crisis we have seen in Europe.
Right.
We've seen many markets that has actually decreased in number of volumes. But we also have some success stories around the world. North Africa is part of that. India is part of that. China is a very important market for Volvo Cars, and the plan for Volvo Cars is actually worldwide to double its current sales from around 440,000 units to 800,000 cars.
And what are the biggest challenges you're facing globally when it comes to selling luxury cars?
I can talk perhaps a little bit about India. In India, Volvo Cars does not have today that brand perception versus the other luxury car brands. We're smaller than they are at the moment, and we also don't have that same image, brand image, as they have. But we're very confident with our products. And what we do like here, and what we have working a lot, is two things mainly, is our network expansion and also working on our improving our image.
Now in 2020, which is the year 2020, you plan to come up with a car when a driver sits on the steering wheel of the car. He cannot get injured. He cannot ever, even if he's met up with an accident, cannot die. How do you plan to make a breakthrough in technology such that this takes place in the year 2020? What kind of a car are you coming up with?
What we do now with our new cars, which is a standard feature, is that if the driver has not reacted and a crash is imminent, then the car will go into full auto stop and will actually save the car from crashing. And we're the only car brand that can offer that.
What is the kind of technology that enables you to execute something like that?
Well, it's a laser-assisted technology, and it is constantly looking out for the objects in front of the vehicle. Now we also have something called the pedestrian safety as well. So actually, with pedestrians above 80 centimeters, car will also stop for them. So it's actually stop for the people. Now latest as well with our new car, the Volvo V40, we're also introducing a pedestrian airbag. So it's not for the people just inside the car,
it's for people
but it's outside the car. So in a frontal collision with a person, we'll actually have an airbag popping up under the hood. All I can say is that Volvo is constantly looking to increase its safety. And by year 2020, we will say that if you sit in a Volvo car and wearing your seatbelt, we guarantee that you will not die or get seriously injured in a Volvo car. And that is just fantastic.
Is this car being launched for the masses or for the luxury segment?
Volvo will always be in the luxury segment,
okay.
But we will be selling this car worldwide, of course.
Volvo for India is synonymous with buses. Not many people know you're into the luxury car segment as well. So what is that unique positioning strategy adopted for the niche clientele that you cater to?
Volvo Cars entered the market around 2007, and yes, when it entered, Volvo Buses has been established for many years, and Volvo in India has done a fantastic success. It's synonymous, Volvo. Oh, I traveled with a bus. No, you say I traveled with Volvo.
I know what you're talking about.
There was a funny story when, just when we opened the office, we had a Volvo sign outside the office. We had people coming in and asking to buy bus tickets. And we had to explain that, no, actually, we also produce luxury cars. So that was one funny story I think, in 2007. It takes a lot of focus, it takes a lot of commitment and patience as well. So we did learn a lot of things from Volvo Buses. Even though we're different companies, we call each other cousins. We share the same logo. And we wanted to learn also their success and how they have actually succeeded in a market like India. And what they have proposed to us and advised us is to focus on test markets where you can actually make an impact, perhaps in a smaller market.
So are you test marketing across various geographies to see?
Yeah, and we did a very successful test market in 2012. We chose Hyderabad.
Right.
And after 12 months, we can see that...
That's your best-selling city anyway.
Yes, it is. And from that point of view, we also beat two other luxury brands. We're number 2 in that market in Hyderabad. Now what we want to do in 2013 is to copy-paste and take the learnings we have from there to other parts of India.
The sports utility vehicle launched in 2012 enjoys the maximum amount of growth when it comes to Volvo. Is that true?
Yes, it's true. The car XC60, which you're talking about, the smaller SUV car, was actually launched 2 years back. Last year we did launch the car with a smaller engine and a high-performance smaller engine, which actually has shown the biggest growth in 2012. Still, the sedan segment is actually the biggest contributor to our volumes with the S60, but the XC60 is very quickly catching up with the same volumes of the S60.
How do you manage that, considering automobile is a very difficult sector in this country? So to deal with in terms of regulations, in terms of competition, in terms of the increasing presence of Audi, Mercedes and BMW as well. How do you tackle all of that?
Very important strategy in 2012 was also to expand our presence and our footprint in India. And we added 3 new dealers in India, and we almost added, I think, around 6 new sales outlets as well as service outlets. And this has shown a great increase in our presence and therefore in the volumes as well.
What's interesting is that you remain unaffected by custom duty despite all your cars being imported here.
It is true, the customs duties are quite high in India.
Absolutely.
And we do face, of course, customs duties on our cars. But what's important for us is that we can actually price the cars in the retail market where we should be priced. And today I can very proudly say that our prices are not more expensive than the competition, but we're just about where they are.
Are you planning to set up a manufacturing unit right here in India?
No,
anytime soon?
Not for the moment, because the market is not that developed yet for Volvo Cars.
Right.
What I could also say that the focus from the head office is basically 2 countries. It's been China, which is our second biggest market worldwide, and India, which is the fastest growing market for Volvo Cars.
An initiative to bring in your own finance captive arm into the country?
Today we work with several local banks, and we have very good relations with them. So we do have all the facilities that the customer would need for financing, for getting credit, etc. At the moment, we don't have a captive finance arm in India, and that is one of the things that we're constantly looking into. If we see that it is important enough, then we definitely will bring that. But at the moment, there's no plans to bring in 2013.
So what is the timeline? When would you think you would be able to bring that in?
It would be when we see that the market actually needs that. For the moment, I say we are working well with the local banks, and it's for us, it's fine.
Now, Volvo does not believe in masses, but it believes in classes, and a class apart in the world of sports is, of course, golf as well. So let's talk about your passion for golf. When did it all begin for you?
I started first playing golf when I was 12 years old. My parents sent me to a 2-week camp for golf, and since then I've been connected to golf. Golf is, for me, is quite relaxing sport. I do wish I could play more. But when I do play, I really enjoy it.
You're also a tennis player, isn't it?
Yes, that's correct. So I like sports in general, yes.
Do you like tennis more or golf?
Both are different. I think tennis will be more competitive.
Right.
And you really get a workout and you get pain after the match. In golf, it would be more relaxing. It's more of working the brain. and concentration, and also enjoying the nature and the greenness.
So your love for golf is conspicuous. What is also obvious is your love for love, because you've had a rather romantic journey when it comes to getting into India. Yes. Tell us that story of how you came to India.
I have been working with Volvo Cars for more than 19 years, and my career started with Volvo Cars in Turkey. After 14 years there, I moved to Middle East, and I was stationed there for 3.5 years. About a year and a half ago, about let's say 2 years back, the company asked me if I would be interested in India, and I had never visited the country, but it was such a fascinating offer, and it was a chance of a lifetime. So I jumped on the question, and I can tell you that so far, within the last 1.5 years, I've had a fantastic time, and I cannot believe that time is going so fast.
You mentioned UAE. How is the story different than it is in India when it comes to automobile sector? Because you were with Volvo
Correct.
Itself in the UAE as well.
Yeah, I can tell you that in the UAE, the taxes are much less.
Right.
You have import duties of 5%. So the pricing structure of cars in the UAE, for example, would be very different than they are in India. At the absolute or the retail pricing, you would see that there are a lot more luxury cars in UAE as a part of the total industry volume. So in UAE, perhaps you would have around 150,000 cars being sold. Maybe around 20% of those would be actually luxury cars. In India today, luxury cars have around 1% of the total industry volume. So it's below the worldwide average. The worldwide average will be around 10%.
So in 2012, you also launched your Volvo World Golf Championship in partnership with PGTI here in India. How's that coming along for you?
Excellent. I would say India in 2012 became the 26th country worldwide to introduce our own golf property. It is quite different versus what the competition has, which also sponsors golf, in the sense that the winners of the India finals, in the end, we actually took them to South Africa, where they actually get to play a full round of golf with the world's best golfers.
Wow.
So it's a pro-am, and they get all the expenses paid. We had a winner from Pune, and we had a winner from Chandigarh, who represented India in the worldwide finals in South Africa.
When is the next Volvo Golf Championship?
We are still working on the dates, but this year we will expand the tournament. Last year we had around 1,000 Indian golfers. This year probably we'll have around 1,400 players fighting for 2 positions to go to January 2014 to South Africa.
Do you network a lot on the golf course? Do you have a lot of fellow CEOs and a lot of colleagues who you play golf with and end up networking with?
I've been fortunate enough to be able to play most of the tournaments that we have had. We have had 8 tournaments in India last year. And of course, playing a round of golf, you spend 4 or 5 hours in the golf course, and you have a maximum chance to network and to meet people. We have the same interests with these people, so that's why you can connect very easily.
Sony Ericsson is launching some technology for you where we will be able to network sitting in our Volvo cars as well. Can you take us through that?
Well, it's all in the development stage. The new generation of Volvo cars, we call them connected cars. So the cars will always be connected. You will always be online. You will be streamlining music. You will be able to have the, etc. So I mean, the opportunities are endless. We also have...
This is obviously in the back seat and not in the front seats.
Well, I think in the front as well, for the passengers sitting in the front. And we would have as well opportunities to, for example, if you were driving up the mountains and you would need some more horsepowers, you would actually, without stopping the car, connect, and you could actually rent extra horsepowers. So you would say, okay, I need 50 more horsepowers for 5 hours, and while the car is driving, we'll actually be downloading more horsepower, so you'll have a stronger engine while going up there, and you will be paying only the rental for those 5 hours. For example, these are the things that can come in the future. These are the things we're working on. The cars will be talking to each other, so even if you have a corner and the car has stopped on the other side where you cannot see, the cars will be speaking to each other, so they would say that, hey, take it easy, there's a car stopped there, you have to start braking.
But you know, in a situation like that, for Volvo to Volvo, because that you've brought in that technology, it's possible. But Volvo to another brand or another company that does not have this technology enabled, how do you do that then?
Again, we're still in development stage.
How can it be successful?
We're still development stage, and I think many car manufacturers around the world are actually working a lot with the technologies and to make the cars more safer. I would say that we will not try to keep our own safety for ourselves, but again, we would like to share it with other manufacturers around the world.
So that was a good one. In fact, we'll be heading towards a transformation of sorts in the society, whether it comes to networking on the golf course or networking sitting in your car as well. So thank you so much, Thomas, for joining me today on Tea Time.
Thank you.
It was indeed a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you, Jasmine.
Thanks.